In this video, you're going to set up a worm farm from absolutely nothing, and in 30 days, have a healthy low-maintenance bin producing rich worm castings to feed your garden for free. Let's start at zero with what you need. For this beginner worm farm, you'll need one opaque plastic tote with a lid, about 10 to 18 gallons in size, a drill with small holes, some shredded cardboard or newspaper, a small amount of finished compost or garden soil, and about 1 pound of composting worms, usually red wigglers. You'll also want a tray or second tote to catch any drips and keep the area clean. Day 1 is all about preparing the bin so your worms move into a safe, stable home. Take your tote and drill small air holes around the top sides, about every 2 inches, and a few tiny holes in the bottom for drainage. Place the tote on top of a shallow tray or inside a second tote to catch any moisture. Use a marker to loosely outline where you'll drill so the holes are evenly spaced and the bin looks neat and intentional. Next, we'll build the bedding, which is the mattress your worms will live in. Soak shredded cardboard or newspaper in a bucket of water, then squeeze it out so it's damp like a wrung-out sponge. Fill the bin about halfway with this fluffed-up bedding, making sure there are no big dry or soggy clumps. Aim for pieces roughly 1 inch wide so they don't mat together and the worms can move through easily. To help your worms settle in quickly, add a microbial starter layer. Sprinkle in 1 to 2 cups of finished compost or healthy garden soil on top of the bedding and gently mix it in with your hands. This introduces friendly microbes and grit that worms need to digest food. Spread the starter evenly rather than dumping it in one spot, so the entire bin develops a balanced microbial community. Now we'll condition the bin before the worms arrive. Level the bedding so it's fairly even, then tuck in a single sheet of dry newspaper or a piece of cardboard on top as a cover layer. Put the lid on loosely, and set the bin in a cool, shaded spot between about 60 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, indoors or in a protected area. This simple cover layer also helps keep fruit flies away once you start feeding later on. Days 2 through 7, leave this bin alone so the bedding can balance out. During this week, moisture and microbes spread evenly, and any initial chlorine from tap water has time to dissipate. If you're curious, you can lift the lid once or twice to be sure the bedding still feels like a wrung-out sponge, but don't add food yet. Think of this as preheating and stabilizing the oven before you ever put anything in it. Day 8 is moving day for the worms. In the cool part of the day, open the bin and gently fluff the top inch of bedding. Place the worms on top in a few small piles, then leave the lid off for just a few minutes. The light will encourage them to burrow down into the bedding on their own. Avoid handling them too much. Letting them crawl down on their own reduces stress and losses. Once the worms have disappeared into the bedding, lay the paper cover back down and close the lid. For the first week after adding worms, avoid feeding them and just let them explore and settle. Keep the bin in the same quiet, shaded place without vibrations, bright lights, or frequent moving. Treat this like moving into a new home. Let them get comfortable before you start bringing in big groceries. Days 9 through 14, you're in monitoring mode. Every few days, open the lid briefly, lift a corner of the paper and feel the bedding. If it feels a bit dry, lightly mist with water. If it feels soggy, stir in a handful of dry shredded paper or cardboard to soak up extra moisture. Aim for consistency here. Small, gentle adjustments instead of big swings in moisture will keep the worms happiest. You can also use your nose and eyes as a quick health check. A healthy bin smells earthy and mild, not sour, ammonia-like or rotten, and you shouldn't see clouds of gnats when you open the lid. If you ever notice bad smells or a lot of insects, that usually means too much food, too much moisture, or both, so pause feeding and correct the bedding first. Catching and fixing these small issues early keeps the worms working steadily, instead of crashing the bin. By the end of week 2, your worms should be settled and ready for their first gentle feeding. Start with a very small amount. About 1 cup of soft kitchen scraps like chopped fruit and vegetable peels, coffee grounds, or crushed eggshells. Avoid meat, dairy, oily foods, and anything heavily seasoned. Push back a small section of bedding at one corner of the bin and bury the food about 2 inches deep, then pull the bedding back over it. This keeps smells down and discourages flies. Put the paper cover back, close the lid, and make a note of where you fed so you can rotate feeding spots later. Keeping the food in just one spot to start also makes it easy to check how quickly your worms are eating. If this step-by-step guide is helping you so far, take a second right now to support the channel. Click the like button so more gardeners can find this, and hit subscribe if you want more simple, organic gardening tips and experiments that actually work. From days 15 to 21, feed no more than once a week and keep portions small. Before each feeding, check the last spot. If most of the food is gone and the bedding looks darker and crumbly, you can feed the next spot. If there's still recognizable food, wait a few more days. This prevents overfeeding and sour, smelly conditions. Over time, you'll learn your bin's eating speed, which depends on temperature, worm numbers, and the types of scraps you add. As you move into days 22 to 30, you should see signs that your worm farm is thriving. The bedding will slowly turn from light cardboard color to a darker, richer, soil-like material, and you'll notice a mild, earthy smell rather than anything rotten. The worms will usually stay down in the bedding, away from the lid and walls. If they're clustered on the sides or trying to escape, that's a sign something's off with moisture, food, or temperature. During this period, keep your routine simple and consistent. Once a week, feed a new corner or section with 1 to 2 cups of food scraps, then cover with bedding. Each time you add food, also sprinkle in an equal or slightly larger volume of dry shredded paper or cardboard to keep a good balance between moisture and air. Rotating where you feed also encourages the worms to spread throughout the bin and use all the space. Watch the moisture carefully this last week. If the bedding ever feels soggy, mix in more dry bedding and leave the lid slightly ajar in a dry room for a few hours to let excess moisture escape. If it feels too dry, lightly mist and gently stir the top couple of inches to spread the moisture without disturbing the worms too deeply. A small hygrometer or just your fingertips can be your guide. Aim for that consistent damp sponge feel. By day 30, you should have a stable, active worm farm that is steadily turning your kitchen scraps into valuable worm castings. You don't need to do a full harvest yet, but you can gently scrape a small amount of the darkest material from one side of the bin and use it as a top dressing around your container plants or garden beds. This gives you an early taste of the benefits while you let the rest of the bin continue maturing. Going forward, you simply repeat this steady rhythm. Small, regular feedings, rotating spots, balancing food with dry bedding, and keeping the bin in that comfortable temperature range. Over the next few months, more and more of the bedding will become finished castings, and your worm farm will turn into a long-term, low-effort fertilizer factory for your garden. As the population grows, you can even start a second bin or share worms and castings with friends and neighbors. It's the kind of quiet, steady project that ticks along in the background while you get on with life, and then rewards you every time you see healthier leaves and stronger roots. The longer you keep it going, the more this little bin becomes one of the most valuable tools in your entire garden. If you found this helpful and you're ready to grow more food with less effort, please click like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments what you'd like to see next. More worm farming tips, compost ideas, or organic fertilizer experiments. And remember, this doesn't have to be perfect on day one. Every great worm farm starts out as a simple bin with a few scraps and a small handful of worms. As you check on it week by week, you'll get a feel for what your bin likes, and before long it will just be another easy routine like watering your favorite plant. Stick with it for a couple of months and you'll wonder why you ever paid for bagged fertilizer in the first place.